What would you do if you found out that you would live forever? Where would you go? Who would you see? What would you do if you also found out in order to do this, every first moment you have will be your last moment? For every person that you meet, as soon as they leave, they forget you. Living a life of constantly being invisible and always forgotten. We'll discuss these topics and more as I do my spoiler-free review of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab.
Yeah, I know I look good. Yeah, I look fly. Baby, I'm just your type. I'm a baddie.
Hey, you guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done. It's been a while since I've discussed books. By discuss books, I mean like book review. I read many books. I do that. But I'm doing this particular review because someone wanted my opinion on it, and I really wanted to talk about this book, why I still have it in my mind. Also, I want to tell you about something. So as you can see, I have this cute ass little glass, but in it I have like this honey lemon ginger drink that I got from Trader Joe's, and what I have in it is called Brain Juice by Organic Olivia. Now, I just got in the mail today, and I purchased this because a friend of mine was raving about her products, especially Brain Juice and Peach Juice. I only got the Brain Juice, and how much she felt like, they added to her life. So this particular one is supposed to help with brain function, memory, and concentration. I'll let y'all know, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you know, because as someone who's lacked concentration ever since COVID and working from home, and it's not the working from home part, it's the constantly day in, day out being in my home has really messed up my concentration and my just ability. And then like we're always scrolling and we're only looking for things that we only need seconds of our concentration. So I don't know, it's been a little bit weird. I'm currently working on rewiring my brain. So it's actually really nice to get back into reading as much as I have recently, because now I'm having it to give it my attention these days. I'm reading a book where I couldn't find the audio no matter what. And I was like, I'm gonna read this book. So I'm actually taking my time reading it. And I think it's really been helping with the improvement. But I was like, let me get a little boost. And just so you know, in it is ginkgo leaf, go-to cola herb, rosemary herb, red Chinese ginseng root. So these are the active ingredients in the supplement. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes during the week and stuff. And if it does, if I feel an improvement, a sharpness, should you say, we'll see. I will definitely purchase it again, and I'll let y'all know. But again, I spent this with my own money, just letting you know that I was trying this, put it in my juice, because we have something to talk about today. The Invisible Life by Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Did I want to read this? I didn't. Wasn't interested. It sounded boring. I don't know what possessed me to do it. I think there's something about the premise of the book, which I'm going to get into, that just sounded great. I did read this, recently, during the cold times of the year. And this book is perfect for that. The book talks about a character. Her name, of course, is Addie LaRue. And she's put into a situation where her life isn't going the way she wants it to go, plain and simple. And through her naivety, she makes a deal with an entity. Some say it's the devil, some say it's a demon, doesn't really matter. Maybe it's a crossroads demon, we don't know. Maybe it's a genie. Who knows? But she makes an unforgivable deal where she wants to have control over her life and do whatever she wants, goes wherever she wants with almost no consequences. And he gives this to her, but it comes with a cost. So she'll live forever, But with that, whoever she meets, she's instantly forgotten. So the cool thing is, if she steals something, no one would ever remember her. She won't show up on any cameras or anything like that. Like, she's completely forgotten, which really helps, but sometimes doesn't help in some situations. People are like, where did you come from? Who are you? And she's had a wonderful evening with them where she never left their sight. And then she wakes up the next day and then they're looking at her like, I was probably really drunk last night. I am so sorry. I do not remember who you are. And that crushing feeling of knowing that this isn't the first time with the same person. This isn't the first time she's happened. She's been doing this all week, constantly reminding this guy who she is, to be with him for a whole week. And then she gets tired of it. And so this time she just says, I'm done. And that's just one situation. As you're going through the book and you're going through this journey with her, you're seeing what it's like for her to walk this world for centuries, essentially, and to never be remembered. However, one day she meets a gentleman, and the very next day she goes into his shop and she attempts to steal something. And he says, hey, weren't you here before? What are you doing here trying to steal stuff now? And she's like, wait, what? You remember me? He's like, of course I do. And that's where it just gets magical, where she's like, I can't believe it. This is insane. And so we're exploring now this new relationship. But what makes this book enchanting is that it's called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and there's a reason for that. But this book is honestly about both of them. So you split half of your time with Addie LaRue, and then you split half of your time with the guy. And his story is amazing, and they have more in common than you could ever imagine. And they share a sad fate that makes Romeo and Juliet, sound like a kid's story. So I honestly recommend The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I absolutely enjoyed it, but I want to talk a little bit more about some of the pros and maybe some of the cons or some of the things about this book. So, pros. What's positive about this book? This book is beautiful. Okay. This book spits out a classic. This book came out, in 2020? I'm pretty certain. It came out in 2020. But to read it, you feel like you're reading something from like the 50s or the 1930s or the 1920s. This book is absolutely timeless in its writing. V.E. Schwab, did something amazing. Listen, Victoria, she put some stank on this book. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really, really enjoyed the writing of this book. Now, here is the truth. In the beginning, I was like, a little slow. Here's the thing. I think all books are slow in the beginning. I was listening to a booktuber, and I apologize, honestly cannot remember her name. But she was talking about reading more books. And one of the things that she said was, the reason why you're probably not reading more books is that either one, you're reading the wrong book, or you're not giving books enough of a chance. And this is what I would say about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. No, it's not the greatest book in the first chapter. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the one to tell you that. And I don't think that I should force any book to be great in the first chapter. I don't think it's fair. Can it happen? Yes. But when you're building a substantial presence, you're creating an atmosphere, you're trying to truly connect your soul with every aspect of this book, it's gonna come off slow. That's just true. And for me, I was like, I don't know. So I wanted to be that person to say, if you started reading Addie LaRue, you read the first paragraph and it didn't grip you, give it a chance. If you read the first chapter and it didn't grip you, give it another chance. Okay? Get to at least the plot that describes the book. You know what I'm saying? Like the little blurb, the description. Get to that part of the plot. do that. And I would say once you get to the part where she meets the entity that changes her entire life, the book goes that way. Okay, is that I don't remember it. Y'all remember that dance? Okay, doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, just get to that part, okay? Like, and I would say that that's the only thing, is that you're gonna have to ride the wave with this one. This isn't a book that you're just going, you're not thrumming through it, you're not losing your mind, you're like, oh my gosh. Some people may, because it is like the melodrama of a lifetime, but it's so beautiful. V. Schwab really took her time with her words, so enjoy them, eat them up. Character development. All the characters in here are well flushed out. You have an intimate relationship with not only Addie LaRue, not only the guy in mention whose name I will not say, but even the entity. You would think that in a lot of books, when it comes to these entities, they're bestowing these, curses or wishes or whatever. They're kind of bada boom, bada in and out. But you actually get to know their motives. And it doesn't happen instantly, but it does happen. And when it does, you blur the lines between good and bad, right and wrong, who you're rooting for. And that, my dear, is beautiful. Because there's nothing like reading about people who you don't care about and you're not interested in. But not once did I lose interest, and that is something I truly appreciate. The magic. So being that this book is really just about a curse, it's not really about magic. So I can't give you any information about the magic system. We're talking about world building. I mean, she's essentially in our modern world, so there isn't much for her to build. She only really needs to say where she is located. There's a bookstore, and the bookstore sounds amazing, but I think all bookstores are amazing. So it's well crafted. What she does that's amazing is she just builds the scene, builds the atmosphere and the mood. And that's what she really, really focuses on as far as world building in this book. Another thing that I found very interesting is the LGBTQ plus representation in this book. It's fluid, it's seamless, and I truly appreciated it. So beautiful. It was so natural. I was so delighted with how these characters were created and just how much the author took into great respect how she talked about these topics. And it was just so lovely the way it was a part of the story. And I just, this book has triggers of abuse, suicide, and depression. So these themes are happening in the book. It is not the overarching theme of the entire book for sure, but I do want to make you aware that this is something that the book does explore, especially with one particular character, and I felt everything for them. I felt everything, like I kind of related to a little bit, but if you're triggered by that, this book may be too atmospheric for you. It's already pulling at your heartstrings on a variety of different levels. That may be too much for you, then maybe this book isn't for you, but I would say please still give it a chance and, and see for yourself. I would say this book is more plot driven. One would say it's character driven, but being that the character is in a situation that's forever ongoing, I'm gonna have to go with plot driven. I think that's the only way that really ramps up what happens in this book. Now, this book has a lot of flashbacks. Let's get this correct. This book loves to go back and forth, past the present. If you don't like that, you're going to get nauseous. This book isn't for you. I'm not going to even set you up, boo-boo. If you don't like going back and forth from past to present, it ain't for you. However, I was very appreciative every time we went into the past. I felt like it did nothing but bring more interesting dynamics to the story. And it was a great way to explain some of the things that happened later down the line as well. So I would say that I loved how it was written. It could have been written in chronological order. It could have. but it probably would have been too slow, to be honest with you. So I enjoyed that the moments that we were in the past, they were glimpses, they were moments, and then we got back to the present, because the present is where it got juicy. The thing that's really cool about the plot, and this will be the last thing I'll probably say, is just that I can guess the ending. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not quite sure how it ended anyway. Like, I'm just like, wait, what is this? What? Like, this is definitely a standalone. Hopefully, by the grace of great goodness, there's not a sequel to this book, because we don't need one. Like, there's gonna be someone who hypes this book up. It's gonna be an editor like, yo, Schwab, get a sequel. People want to know things. Like, no, the way the book ended, the mystery behind it, keep it. It's beautiful. It's timeless. Like I said, don't change it. But again, that ending, didn't see it coming. Wish I could say I did, but I didn't. Maybe you would get it, but I did not. There are times in this book I didn't understand her curse. Like I told you what the curse is. You can read the back of the book. It tells you what the curse is. But the logistics aren't that well fleshed out. I'm not going to lie. The logistics aren't that well fleshed out. So don't get caught up in them. Don't get caught up in it. You got to take them as surface level. Just what I told you. Take it as that. But then there's moments in the books that contradict it. And then you're like, if you're going to do that, could you explain a little better? Because I think they explained the reason why this is possible. But was it good enough? Was it good enough? Like, I'm like, it's not. It's not to me. It's not good enough reason for this to be a thing. But outside of that, you guys, I do not regret reading this book. I do not own this. I actually got this as an audiobook from the library. But will I purchase this book? Hopefully a really nice... Actually, I think I may wait till a nice collector's edition, because you know how Schwab do. She be coming out with some of the cutest, like, collector's edition at some point. But yeah, I do want to own this book, and I would do a reread. I know. That's a bit much, but yes, I would do a reread. And I want to say this. This isn't a spoiler, but hopefully it kind of convinces you to maybe think about it. My favorite character was the devil. Was my favorite character. I say nothing more. Fans of Oscar Wilde and Jane Austen will definitely enjoy this book. And now I want to do my recommendations. So I only chose 4 books from my personal collection. There's a lot more books I think I could compare this to, but I want to first talk about Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I remember this book. You want to talk about atmospheric, a love that just cannot be just tragic in every way. Passenger, my friends, Passenger. Put her on your list. Another tragic relationship that I also like is Every Day by David Leviathan. At least I think that's how you say it. Leviathan? Oh, Every Day by David Leviathan. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name wrong. But that's not what's important, okay? And it's not even important that they made a movie out of this. But yes, read this book. Oh, this one. Get ready for it, man. Get ready for it. Wolf Children by Mamoru Hosoda. If you need to read more mangas in your life, pick her up. You need to make that transition from book to manga. Pick her up. You're thinking, oh, she chunky, she thick, she got it like that. You'll eat this up so quickly. I promise you. You'll eat it up so quickly. It's tearing me apart thinking about it. I may have to do a reread for this one too. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Well, that's the whole point of me having books on my shelves, is to reread them one day. But yeah, I don't even want to tell y'all about them. I want y'all to look them up, look into them. And then this one, I finally read this one in 2020. I want to say it came out in 20 actually. I think this book actually came out in no, it couldn't have, because he came out with a new book in 2020. I want to say this came out in 2019 actually. It doesn't matter when this book came out. But this book is by my guy. We're namesakes in a way. But Justin A. Reynolds, The Opposite of Always. Another tragic love. Another race against time. Time travel. It's two to save. For one to live, another must die. Like, oh! Like, yes. If you need the feels and you feel like you've been feeling lifeless, go ahead. Pick up The Opposite of Always, or actually any of the books that I recommended today. But that concludes my review as well as my recommendations of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I hope you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to hear if you've read that book. Let me know down below. If you're going to read that book or any of my recommendations, I want to know what you choose. Tell me so that we can cat in the comments below. And as always, till next time.